It is our winners and losers presented by Discover. And Wish, why don't you start us off? Because there's a particular captain playing in this series that just keeps adding to his trophy case.
Aleksander Barkov. He won the Selke again, folks, but he also won the King Clancy Award, which is the big community award the NHL gives out. He was surprised with the award by children from Joe DiMaggio's Children's Hospital, a place that Barkov has supported through the years. When they bought in the Selke trophy, Barkov said, "I was not expecting it at all." When they bought in another trophy, it was pretty overwhelming for me. I'm truly honored by the award. Here's the thing about Barkov that I find interesting, Arda. Do you know that there's only 2 players in NHL history that have won the Selke and the Hart Trophy for league MVP? I feel like, and those 2 players, by the way, are Bobby Clarke and Sergei Fedorov. I feel like Barkov has been kind of like categorized as the Selke guy, and I think it's sort of unfortunate because I think at the end of the day, this guy should have been in the MVP mix much more than he has been. But at the end of the day, hey, you're the best defensive forward, and that's all we're going to give you.
Pretty sure that was Adeline, Panthers communications, hiding behind the door in that clip there. I love shouting out Adeline. She's one of the best in the entire league. But yeah, that's a really cool stat about Sasha Barkov and how rare it is for a player to win a Selke and a Hart in their career. No Hart trophies will be given to the relationship between Pete DeBoer and Jake Ottinger. That is a loser. We're going to expand this to the previous series as well as we talk winners and losers here presented by Discover. Pete DeBoer ain't happy with Jake Ottinger, particularly against the Edmonton Oilers in their final game. He pulled him after 2 shots and 2 goals allowed early in the first period. He had some very direct comments about Jake Ottinger's recent performances in the postseason against the Edmonton Oilers, essentially saying, hey, this is a big enough sample size. I'm paraphrasing there, but I don't know. I mean, look, I know that they're professionals. They're making millions of dollars a year, and there's going to be trolls on social media, and there's going to be negativity that you face when you have a spotlight that big as an athlete. But when you hear your own coach saying those things, that's not often something that can be easily repaired.
Pete DeBoer throwing his goalie under the bus. It's never happened before. Marc-Andre Fleury. Look, you can't say your franchise goalie can't beat an opponent, which is basically what he said about Jake Ottinger. It's not as if the Dallas Stars are not going to see the Edmonton Oilers in the playoffs again. And when they do, every single question that Ottinger will be asked will be about his coach saying that he can't beat this team. I thought it was unfair. I don't think it's Jake Ottinger's fault that Dallas Stars scored 2 goals in 3 games against the Edmonton Oilers and basically got boo-boo faced because they couldn't do the things they wanted to do offensively against that defense. Could he be better? Absolutely. I think Jake Ottinger would be the first one to say he could be better in the playoffs. But this sure as hell was not on him, this loss to the Oilers. And I think DeBoer stepped over the line in the way he talked about his goalie.
Winner, the look. I'm talking about Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. They've had a couple of these moments, definitely going down 2-0 against the Los Angeles Kings in the first round. They have a moment where they're sitting, and this is game 1 against the Dallas Stars, where they sort of look at each other in this exact what you see here. And then it just does a complete 180. Everything turns around for Edmonton. It's as if Wish, they're saying, we are deciding that we are going to take over and our fortunes will reverse and we're going to dominate the rest of the way. And that's exactly what they did against Dallas.
First off, congratulations to Tumblr on 2 NHL players sending smoldering looks to each other. But you're absolutely right. Like it's as if they both kind of telepathically gave each other all right, we've got to put an end to this malarkey and take over this series. And again, like we saw in game 1 against the Florida Panthers, when they decide they're going to make plays, they're going to make plays. And you just have to hope that you're far enough ahead that those plays don't result in a game-tying goal or a game-winning goal, which in the case of game 1, they both did. For me, loser, original 6 teams are my loser, Arda. The Oilers are playing in the Stanley Cup final for the 9th time which passes the Philadelphia Flyers for the most among non-Original Six franchises and ranks 7th in NHL history. Chicago has 13 appearances. The Rangers have 11 appearances. Original Six, we coming for you!
Uh-huh. Yes, they certainly are. The Oilers just continue to make the Cup final. If you understand the reference, I'm glad you stopped where you stopped. Winner, NHL versus NBA debates. Take this one. I want to take the next two after this, so please take this one as well.
So the NHL has a Stanley Cup final between two teams that went 7 games last year, between two teams that are obviously, based on their play in these playoffs, the best teams in the postseason. As we saw in game 1 of the Stanley Cup final, it's a heavyweight fight. Every game is going to be a battle. No one's going to want to give an inch. It's packed with personalities and star players and two teams with a lot of animosity for each other. It's the kind of series where if it doesn't go 7, it'd be a surprise. The NBA has Oklahoma City against the Pacers team, where in a best case scenario, they maybe win once. So for those who are fans of the NHL versus NBA debate, looking at you, PK Subban, perhaps this is one where we can plant our flag and say, yes, our final will be better than your final.
Hey, shout out to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, okay? Canada representing the NBA. Let's go MVP. Loser, coaches in the handshake line. This has been a much debated topic. Paul Maurice has spoken about it at length now, not only after this moment that you're seeing here between him and Rod Brind'Amour, where now we know he was saying, hey, let's not go into the handshake line. But Rod Brind'Amour said, look, I prefer to go in the handshake line. Oftentimes I have former players. I would love to shake their hand. Wish, I'm going to offer something up here. This is my solution to all of this. Okay? My solution is, let's take Paul Maurice's lead and let's all agree, everyone on the same page, new paradigm, new rule. The handshake line is only for the players at center ice. The center ice handshake line is only for the players, nobody else. No staff, no coaches, nobody else but the players that suited up in that game. Then you have the coaches that shake hands by the benches. And then following all of those coaches' handshakes, Wish, they wait at their respective benches on the ice by the boards. And at that point, they can either wave over players or players can go to them for select number of player-coach handshakes. And then everyone can leave the ice. 3-step process. Solved. Easy. Done. Because I agree with Paul Maurice in the sense that I like the players shaking hands with the players. I think that is a very nice visual.
I'm famously anti-handshake line. I find it to be horrible for the team that lost. They've got to suck it up and congratulate the person who just crushed their dreams, ruined their season, made their life miserable. Now go shake his hand. Hate it. And your idea is to make more of them. So I'm not a fan of it. But listen, going with the premise that we're going to keep doing the handshake line, I'm actually Team Brind'Amour. I thought he made an excellent point that the coach going through the handshake line at times is congratulating or giving condolences to someone he has a personal connection with. Could be a former player, could in some cases be a former teammate, could be somebody he coached on a national team. I do agree with Brind'Amour. If we're going to do this, the coaches do play a role in these series. They do have connections with the opponents. I think it's only fair that they go through the line. But I do give Maurice credit for one thing. The coaches are one thing. The random guy in a tracksuit that the players have no idea who the hell it is, the fourth trainer, I do agree that maybe they shouldn't be in the handshake line.
Oh, so now we're parsing who's in the line. So is it just the coach, maybe the assistant coaches, maybe not the owner and the general manager at the end of the playoffs? Okay, so we're basically going to have to audit the handshake line. We need it's almost like a starting lineup before the game. We need a list before every elimination game of everyone that is allowed in the handshake line.
I think hockey operations personnel is a good cutoff point. I don't think Betty from catering should be in the handshake line giving condolences to Jamie Benn. Like, that's where I would probably put the cutoff line. But I do think that some hockey operations personnel, and the coach in particular, should be allowed to be in the handshake line.
Benny from catering has given his blood, sweat, and tears to the Florida Panthers organization for 30 years. And you're telling Benny from catering that he can't be in the handshake line to shake Connor McDavid's hand? Are you also saying he doesn't deserve a cup ring?
No, that's different. Everybody deserves a cup ring. They've all helped together. I mean, if it wasn't for the delicious, penne alla vodka that the team gets to eat before the game, they would have never won the cup. You know that.
Loser. Buildings that are lit up in different city team colors. We've talked about this on this show, Greg Wyshynski, about how the Empire State Building essentially has been commandeered into the lights of any sports team in the United States, like when the Eagles won the Super Bowl and it's lit up green. There you just saw the CN Tower, one of the tallest buildings in the world, certainly a Canadian landmark, not just Toronto. But the problem is it is lit up in Edmonton Oilers colors. Who is asking for this, Greg? Who wants this? Do Oilers fans want to see a landmark in Toronto lit up in their colors? You know who got this right? The Tower in Calgary. Look at what they posted. Just to be totally clear, this was last year. The Calgary Tower will be lit blue and orange on Monday, June 10th. For Action Anxiety Day, and for no other reason whatsoever. We've got love for our neighbors to the north and all across this province, but no, never. And that's how it should be. Do not light buildings in one city for another city's team. It is not a national team, Wish. Enough with this ridiculous argument, and stop lighting the CN Tower in any other club team color in the NHL other than blue and white.
It is kind of one of the greatest misconceptions about a Canadian team trying to win the cup for the first time since 1993, that the rest of the country has their back. Now, the rest of the country probably would love someone to beat Florida for various reasons, income tax reasons, we hate the Panthers reasons, but it doesn't necessarily mean they want to see Edmonton win the cup. Like, nobody in Calgary really wants to see Edmonton win the cup. I'm still pissed off that they made Calgary retire Gretzky's number. That's insane. They should have never let that happen. So it is interesting, and I completely agree with you. Like, the idea that you're lighting up the CN Tower in Edmonton colors is a bit much. Like, if you really want to do something, go red and white. Go the colors of the Canadian flag to represent how much we aspire to bring the cup back home where it belongs, in theory. I know Canadians believe that, but it actually belongs to the United States.
Can I ask you a question? As a Devils fan, if the Empire State Building, which is in the heart of Manhattan, New York, is lit up in Devils colors, are you happy about this? Yes, I am, because it shows, because I have perpetual little brother syndrome with the Rangers, and so the idea that the Empire State Building would be in Devils colors is very impressive. And in fact, it's different because there's a ton of Devils fans who live in New York. Every kid in Jersey who grew up a Devils fan is now a day trader in Manhattan, and they can finally afford tickets to see the team. And so I think it's more applicable. It's different when you're in Toronto. Like, if you don't want the CN Tower to represent any other Canadian team. You believe to be yourselves the center of the hockey universe, and as such, you don't laud another Canadian NHL team. I completely agree with you, Arda. Okay, fine. I'll buy the geographical context. So Devils, Islanders, I get that. I'll even include Buffalo as a state of New York team. Fine, I will concede that. But Philadelphia, Boston, any other team in the NHL, I think it's ridiculous. No, I think it's ridiculous.
It's stupid. I completely agree. Okay. It's stupid.
All right, that's Winners and Losers presented by Discover. You are watching The Drop.